host at an Airbnb in New Orleans gives you a warning, listen to it. We'll call her Kate. Kate was staying in town for a business meeting, so she said she was staying at this cute little Airbnb down around the French Quarter. She was alone. She didn't want to stay in hotels. She said she always kind of got the ick in hotels. She felt like they were more dangerous. So she goes to the Airbnb. She had the code to get in, and the host had left her a handwritten note that said, do whatever, just clean up after yourself. But then it also said, do not open the door after midnight for anyone. She thought that they were just trying to be funny because, of the nightlife that's down there. So she kind of didn't pay any mind to it. The first night, everything was fine. The second night at 12:45, she hears a knock at the door, just 3 little knocks. She said they weren't frantic or loud or anything. They were just polite, soft knocks. So she goes to the door, she looks through the peephole, and she sees this gorgeous guy standing there. She said he was so good looking. He was pale skin. He had dark hair, the most gorgeous eyes she'd ever seen. He says, "Hey, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I left my phone in here the other day." She was kind of weirded out a little bit because she knew she hadn't had any guests, but she thought maybe it was whoever stayed there before her, but she hadn't seen or heard a phone. He tells her, "Hey, I can tell you where it's at. You can go get it for me. You don't even have to let me in." Then he mumbled something that she didn't really hear. She couldn't hear it through the door. So without thinking, she just cracked the door a little bit. That's when he winked and said, "Thank you. That's all I needed." Then left. Now, personally, this is where Kate loses me because she said it didn't really scare her because he was so good looking. Girl.
The Louisiana highway that doesn't exist on maps. There's a highway in Louisiana that people remember driving on, but it doesn't exist on any map. Some say it only appears at night. Others claim if you find yourself on it, you'll never reach your destination. And the strangest part? People have been reported missing, and the last place they were seen was this road. Drivers heading south on Highway 90 have reported an unmarked turnoff that wasn't there before. It leads to a long, empty stretch of road. No signs, no exits, no lights. One man drove for over an hour, only to end up back where he started with no memory of turning around. Another driver claims he passed the same gas station 5 times, but the clerk inside was always different. Some believe it's a natural glitch, a place where time folds in on itself. Others say it's a trap. And those who take the wrong turn? Some never find their way back.
Okay, I've always been told never go to the end of Bourbon Street. And I really want to know if anybody else has any stories or experiences about them going to the end of Bourbon Street. I'm going to tell y'all mine. So recently we took a trip to New Orleans, which we go all the time. I'm from Mississippi, so that's going around the corner for us. So we were on Bourbon Street, and we were just walking, minding our business. And you know how you just get distracted. I knew we shouldn't be down there, but we make it to the end of Bourbon Street. It's time slowed all the way down, and it was already eerie. I don't know if it was because it was Easter, but it's just it got real weird real fast. So this is not funny, but I realized we were there, and there was this mental person. He came right up behind us. Why would you be scared of a mental person? But it was him talking to himself, coupled with the chill, and just it was a few people at the end of the street. And so I looked at my fiance, and we both were "Nah, let's turn around." And all I could do was hear my family saying, "Never go down there." And an ignorant way that I've heard, people will be "Oh, don't go down there because that's where the gay people are." Gay people are not going to bother you. There's something supernatural going on. And I wasn't scared because I'm a pretty spiritually protected person, so that wasn't the problem. But when you need to get up out of somewhere, I felt the angels and God being turn your ass around. Because I've heard people getting cart shuffled really bad at the end of Bourbon Street. But I done got shuffled on Bourbon Street, but it wasn't that big of a deal because it wasn't life threatening. It was just a building that was there, and then it wasn't there anymore. So I'm wondering, do you have any stories about the end of Bourbon Street, and can anybody clarify what's going on down there?
Are you familiar with the story of the slave girl named Chloe who poisoned her master's entire family and is said to haunt these grounds to this day? This is what's known as America's most haunted house, the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana. Right when you heard the word plantation, it goes without saying that immense suffering took place here. Between slavery, the many deaths inside of the home, and the speculated murders, it's without a doubt that many ghosts of the past reside here. By far the most popular legend is of Chloe, the slave girl who murdered the children and the wife of the home by baking oleander into the cake as a form of revenge for the abuse that she endured. There's little fact behind this theory. However, many people claim to see Chloe herself in her green turban, as well as the two children running around the house and seeing their handprints in this famed mirror right here. Whether or not you believe that story, it is very true that yellow fever did ravage the South during these times, and quite a few family members did pass away in the home. Other guests have experienced windows violently shaking for no reason, as well as dolls moving. Would you visit the Myrtles to see yourself if it is the most haunted place in America?
Visiting New Orleans, I told y'all once and I'm gonna tell y'all again, please be very mindful, especially downtown on Bourbon, the French Quarters, and all these popular tourist attractions. Okay, think it's a game. So recently there's this video of this man downtown enjoying, and it's this older guy that come up to him and he's basically like trying to make him tap his elbow, y'all. And I'm talking about they're literally directly in front of each other, like elbow to elbow. Like the old man could have easily did it himself, but no, he insisted that the man do it. And a lot of people believe that he was trying to do a destiny swap with him. And y'all think it's all fun and cute because, you know, you're out having a good time, you're drinking, and for the most part, people are intoxicated when they're downtown. So that's why it's so easy for other people to basically take advantage of you while you're down there. This place is very spiritual. And this stuff gets very deep. Now, I'm not saying that everybody in NOLA that does voodoo or practice this type of magic are evil and do it for evil intentions, but there are people that do it for evil intentions. I even seen this video of this Caucasian boy that went downtown and he was talking to this voodoo practitioner and she took a piece of his hair and he was just kiki-kiing and thought it was just so funny. Okay, it ain't gonna be funny when you wake up a frog, for real. But like, all jokes aside, y'all, the energy in New Orleans is very heavy. And some people aren't that spiritual, and some people can't see these things. Some people can literally feel it, but I'm telling y'all, it gets real. And it's not just like this just in New Orleans. It's like that in Savannah, Georgia too. I used to live down there, and I'm telling y'all, you can feel the energy downtown. But yeah, if y'all not busy, y'all need to go look up that video of that man literally, like I'm talking about, he was straight up begging him to tap his elbow so he could read his fortune. Why you want to read my future and stuff so bad? Like I said, they were literally like right beside each other. He could have did it himself, but no, it wouldn't work. The other dude had to have done it. And luckily he didn't do it. Because he would have woke up as the old man would have woke up as him. Let's talk about one of the most haunted plantations in Louisiana, and that is the Myrtles Plantation. Now, this plantation is a historic home and former antebellum plantation with a deep, rich history, and I'm talking about in crazy ghost stories. And General David Bradford built this plantation in 1796, but only lived there for a few years before fleeing because he was involved in some whiskey rebellion. So since then, several owners have owned the plantation. And the plantation was originally called Laurel Grove until they, did some renovations and remodeling, and they changed it to the Myrtles Plantation. But the haunting stories began with the Woodruff family. He was a prestigious judge in the area and owned several slaves, which was, common back then. And they say he was extremely cruel, especially to one particular slave named Chloe. Now, allegedly, Chloe tried to protect herself by eavesdropping in on a conversation that Mr. Woodruff was having so she could modify her behavior, because it was said he was doing the worst of the worst to her and lots of the other slaves. So I guess she was like, I'm going to overhear some stuff he's talking about, see what I can do better to, not aggravate him, or what I can do better for him to stop doing the stuff that he's doing to me. So one day after being caught eavesdropping, Mr. Woodruff literally chops off her ear, y'all, forcing her to carry the shame of disfigurement for the rest of her life. Her mutilation was hidden. He made her wear this green turban that covered her, where her ear would be, just so nobody would know really what happened. And Chloe was over it. So on the 9th birthday of one of the Woodruff's family, Chloe decides to bake a cake, and she put poison in it, which were in these specific leaves. And Chloe's goal was not to unalive the children and the mother. She really just wanted to get them sick so she could nurse them back to health. Because back then, people respected anybody that could nurse or heal or, help people. So she was really hoping to get some cookies, some bonus points, some, cool points. Hey, I got sick and this lady, helped nurse me and my family back to life. And got us better, so we're gonna respect her. But she ended up putting too much in it, and it unalived the mother and the children. So yeah, the dosage was lethal. But the crazy thing is, the slaves unalived Chloe, allegedly. And she was hung for everyone to witness. She was then weighed down by rocks and thrown into the Mississippi River. And even after Chloe's death, like, new owners was like, it was some gruesome activity that was going on there as well. And people that stayed in this home claimed to have just like experienced so many paranormal activities. Like, they said that it's this specific mirror that is in like the foyer. And visitors claim to see like the spirits of the Woodruff's children in this mirror. And like, you could see handprints that would come on this mirror at a specific time of the day. And you would hear loud footprints just like stomping around the house, and nobody is there. And this picture was taken by someone as well. People believe that this was the spirit of Chloe because it looked like someone with like a turban on their head. And later on, around like the 1970s, it was a lot of stuff going on there too. And it was also this film set that they was, filming on the plantation. And people were so spooked, y'all, by the stuff that was going on, like furniture moving with no explanation. Just like I said, hearing loud footsteps throughout the house and just having those weird, heavy, eerie feelings throughout the whole time. Because you could visit this home now. It's literally like a bed and breakfast. They have all kinds of ghost tours. And so many people have allegedly like took pictures of different like spirits or seen stuff. But I mean, there's no doubt about it that this place is haunted. I feel like every plantation is haunted and has like the worst history ever. But let me know what y'all think of the Myrtles plantation.
Whenever they tell y'all to take heed when y'all go to New Orleans and watch out what you're doing, it's not a joke, and you should really listen. I've had something happen to me about 5 years ago that I have been very hesitant to speak on because it's quite scary, and it really happened, and it really mind boggles me that it actually happened. Just a disclaimer, I am very Christian. I believe in God to the fullest, and I worship him with everything. So this story does have a little bit of demonic things going into it, but I myself am not. This is just things that have happened to me, and I'm just sharing my experiences. So about 5 years ago, we had a hurricane here in Lake Charles, Louisiana, which is where I'm from. And during the hurricane, my home was destroyed, all that. So we were living in New Orleans in hotels until FEMA trailers were provided, homes were fixed, things like that. So I was in New Orleans from about beginning of September to the end of November. While I was there, a lot of paranormal, highly spiritual, high demonic things happen. It all started, and I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, this is crazy, why would you have even done that? Mind you, I was 19 at the time. I didn't know no better. I was out there with my friends. I didn't have no family out there. My friends were my family, and we were really just exploring, having fun, trying to make the best of our time while we were there. And I was also not as close to God as I am now as I was then. So we went to Marie Laveau's voodoo shop that is on Bourbon Street. When we walked in, I felt a little off. I was already kind of scared to go in there. It was not my initial idea to go in. It's just that we were with a group of people and they kind of went in. I kind of was like very hesitant because I knew a lot about voodoo already. I do have an auntie who passed, but she used to practice voodoo, and I heard a lot of stories about her growing up. So I was just overall very fearful, but I still went inside because I was like, really, what's the worst that can happen? I'm just going in here. So we're looking around, all the things. I try not to touch anything, y'all, because I don't know the power of anything, that anything holds in there. I knew that everything was used for dark magic, and I wasn't trying to touch it. So I didn't touch anything. But I did end up coming across the altar that they have in there. I did go by the altar, and I did look at it for a while. I did not leave an offering, and I did not touch it. I know that it said that you're supposed to leave an offering, supposed to leave something, but I know for sure you're not supposed to touch it, and I did not touch it, y'all. I didn't. But I am going to say, after we left that voodoo shop, everything went downhill for me. And it was weird because even though we were all there, I swear I don't think anyone else that was with me experienced what I experienced but me.
Want to visit a Louisiana ghost town? There's one so haunted, folks say it never truly disappeared. Ruddock, Louisiana was once a thriving swamp town between New Orleans and Hammond, built entirely on wooden stilts above the marsh. In the early 1900s, it had everything: a hotel, a post office, a schoolhouse, and a sawmill that kept the whole town moving. But in 1915, a powerful hurricane tore through Lake Pontchartrain. By morning, Ruddock was gone. The town was never rebuilt, but to this day, people claim it's not quiet. Fishermen have heard bells ringing from under the water. Others swear they've seen lantern lights flickering where the old streets used to be. And if you walk along the old railroad tracks, some say you can hear footsteps, even though no train has passed through in over 100 years. So would you go? Would you walk the old road into Louisiana's forgotten town?
They say this hotel's haunted, and you know I had to come check it out. St. Vincent's Hotel in New Orleans, Louisiana. From the outside, it's beautiful. It's even peaceful. But when you're here, you can feel something's different. This place used to be an orphanage, and some say it was even an asylum during the yellow fever outbreaks. But people say the energy, it never left. I walked through the lobby, the restaurant, the bar, completely empty, but it felt like I wasn't alone. The staff say they see children laughing, running, even when no one's checked in. There's a book in the lobby where guests write their encounters. Voices, footsteps, lights flickering. Some even say they have been touched in their sleep. But the third floor, that's where it's the strongest. That's where the stories really come from. And you know what? That's the floor I have requested. I'm coming back soon, and I've got one rule. If the elevator opens by itself, I'm taking the stairs.
My experience at the haunted Lalaurie Mansion located in New Orleans, Louisiana. Let's talk about it. So now that I'm back from my trip, I really wanted to talk to y'all about like what happened while I was there, how was it, all that good stuff. A quick rundown, if y'all don't know who Madame Dauphine Lalaurie is, she was this evil socialite back in the day. She bought this home in 1832, this beautiful mansion located in the French Quarters in New Orleans. And she was like literally insane. She tortured and mutilated her slaves. She basically broke their bones to make them look like animals. She did all type of gruesome things to these slaves, to the point where people in the town literally like made her leave because they were that terrified of her. So I went to the house, but I went during the day, and it was extremely stunning, y'all. I'm talking about it was breathtaking. But I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I kid you not. I felt so nauseous when I was there. I was talking to different people that was, recording and making videos. And as soon as I got done interviewing someone about the house and asking them things about it, I swear to God, I literally got so nauseous. Like that watery feeling in your mouth. And I'm not really spiritually sensitive. I just really wanted to pick up on the vibe. And at first it was, it was cool. I really didn't feel anything until I turned around, was gonna walk off, got done interviewing and making my videos. I got so nauseous, like that watery feeling in my mouth. And I turned to my sister because I didn't want her to think that I was like, just trying to be funny or like trying to play and stuff like that. But no, I'm telling you, as soon as we walked off and got a little farther, it just went away. Like it was that watery sensation that make you feel like you have to throw up. You know what I mean? But it was weird. It was really weird how it just came out of nowhere. Like I hadn't eaten anything. I hadn't drunk anything bad. It was honestly really weird. Then there was this baby on the side of the street that would not stop crying. The mom was literally like checking out like a plaque or something on the door, and she was scrolling the baby, and the baby would not stop crying. The baby probably was like around 3 or 4 years old. Just wouldn't stop crying. And I was like, I wonder if them spirits messing with that baby. But I don't know, like the house is beautiful. I feel like if you like American Horror Story, you should check it out because that's really why I wanted to see it. But y'all, if y'all are spiritually sensitive, do not go here because when I tell y'all, I felt nauseous, and when I walked off, it went away. But they do all type of ghost tours at night. I don't believe you can go inside. I literally was just right in front of it though. Took all kinds of pictures. It was crazy though, y'all.
This is one of Baton Rouge's most haunted locations. This is Spanish Moon, which is permanently closed. During the historic 1927 Great Mississippi Flood, this building was used as a morgue. This ended up being one of the worst floods in history in this area. Over 250 people were said to have passed away, and due to lack of transportation at that time, their bodies were stored in there. This building has been a feed store, a thrift store, and countless other things. Up until about the 70s, it became a local flop house for like vagabonds and drug addicts to grab a drink. Until 1997, then it was turned into Spanish Moon, which was a hot spot. I mean, I remember it. Lots of local bands and even some bigger ones played there. I mean, it looks like people had a good time there. There are countless stories of unexplained events. Most famously, there is said to be an apparition of a man dressed in 1950s clothing. There have been multiple accounts of people witnessing his ghost. Bartenders claim that the beer taps would just go on and off by themselves. I guess the ghosts got thirsty. When they were cleaning up for the night or getting ready for a big event and nobody was in the building, employees would report hearing voices upstairs. Early morning vendors would report a feeling of uneasiness when they were in the bar alone, or like they were being watched when making deliveries. Ashtrays would go sliding down the bar when nobody was there. Even as early as 2013, a man was electrocuted at the bar. The bar is now permanently closed, so what the hell with the phone number? What? I did find this interesting. This is their Instagram account that's still up in the bio. Ruined by a shady NOLA businessman. What's the tea?